Hey, I think something that may have, we may not have covered as much as we should have. Ole Miss getting Sanders and Drummond back at wide receiver. Kiffin doesn't need a whole lot. He's going to find his playmakers. And those two guys were overshadowed, with Elijah Moore. But they can play. And that gives Matt Corral some serious weapons. There's some others. But Drummond Sanders, that may be the biggest get of the offseason for either school. The fact that Drummond and Sanders will be coming back to Ole Miss to play wide receiver. And with Matt Corral and the Lane train, baby. We'll have David Johnson coming up here at 8:35. David Johnson, 8:35, Rebels 247, and we'll discuss Drummond Sanders, John Rhys Plumlee, among others. Welcome in. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. During the break, by the way, this is the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. You can watch the show right now on YouTube. Just search Out of Bounds Sports and check out the set. Somehow this Tennessee helmet's up here. We do have the Lane Train bobblehead doll that has been giving us some good mojo. We had it since, I think we had it all last week.
We did.
Yeah. Blake borrowed it.
Allegedly.
From the Pear Orchard studio. And so we have the Lane Train bobblehead doll going for us on the set. Then we've got some Abita beers and some other helmets and so on. So it looks good. I think everything's lining up right now for 2021. And during the break, Blake was bragging about, one, Chad Henne's foot speed, but two, beer pong.
Oh.
He was actually, during the break, bragging about he and another one of his buddies whipping some other guys in beer pong over the weekend at their big 30th birthday party in Memphis, and we know Memphis will never be the same.
No.
I mean, this was bigger than Elvis. Go ahead.
It came, well, I mean, you make it sound like it came about organically. See, the problem is I had to get up and walk around to go set up the video for David. And, I'm sore over here on my left side, and I couldn't remember why.
Did you take a shot?
Well, that's what you said, and I was like, I don't remember getting hit, but I did a lot of celebrating, from all my wins. So I must have, too many chest bumps or something, left side. I don't know. I think I got Aaron Donald rib cartilage injury, but I played through. It's fine. I'm here,
Well, but you're still willing to suit up.
That's right. I battle for the team.
So a little rib cartilage injury maybe.
Yeah, I'm on the
chest
injury
bumping
list.
and
Yeah.
beer ponging.
Yeah, I'm not.
You probably didn't stretch.
Not practicing this week, but I'll play.
Okay. There you go.
What are we talking about? Practice?
Is that what Patrick Mahomes is going to do?
Yeah. If you think Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be playing this weekend,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. All right. What did Tommy T do?
He looked like he did some brats or some sausage and some burgers, little ham sandwiches.
What are those? No, that's boudin.
Oh, boudin.
Oh, those are stuffed mushrooms.
Oh, stuffed mushrooms, burgers, boudin, sausage, and the little sliders.
I wonder. Oh man, that looks
maybe some hush puppies over there.
Amazing. I think Tommy T may deserve a prize or a gift from the Out of Bounds Show. It's sliders, burgers, boudin, stuffed mushrooms, and fried shrimp for the po' boys.
Ooh.
This guy put on. These are the sandwiches you and I were
the
you
little
had
sliders
over the weekend.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Nathan from Boar's Head brought them in for us.
Yeah,
and they're absolutely delicious.
Poppy seed ham and cheese sliders, man.
Yeah.
Woo.
And you just throw them in the oven for
a little bake,
few minutes.
Yeah, a little butter on top. Just.
I wonder if you should crumble up bacon and put it on there too.
You can do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Never anything wrong with a little bacon.
Squirrel who doesn't know the meaning of fun.
Is there someone more salty than that guy?
Yeah,
he won the national title. It's like,
I mean, that guy gets up angry. Squirrel says beer pong grow up.
Dude, I live rent-free in Squirrel's brain,
Hey,
dude.
yeah, you do.
That's a fact.
And you mess with him maybe a little bit too much on the Mississippi Ag
He
text line.
deserves it.
Look, when I went to the Penn State-Ohio State game, we got there on Friday night, and we walked up to the they had a Winnebago thing, and they were playing beer pong.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't played beer pong in years.
Yeah, me either.
And it was freezing. And so about 15 minutes in, they were like, hey, what do y'all want to do? And I was like, go to a restaurant that actually has bourbon and food.
See, I don't need a
and
restaurant.
sit down in a place that's, 68 degrees. Even pre-COVID, I wasn't putting my hand into a beer pong cup to do all
you
that
don't
nonsense.
drink out of it. No, it's you put
No,
water
they
in
were.
the cup and you drink.
They were drinking all the, and I was like, that's not why I'm here.
Nope.
I'm
No,
here
you
for
don't
a
do
good
that.
time. And, we had a driver from Pittsburgh to Penn State's campus. And so we just sat in the back of this cool vehicle and sipped on Cask 16. And I'm not a Crown Royal fan and most of that stuff. Anyway, but the Cask 16 was the best juice they ever made. And a friend of mine gets off the plane and buys $300 or $400 bottles. I was like, well, giddy up. We'll go to Penn State in style. But I wasn't going to hang out and do beer pong on Friday night. So we ended up at a cool restaurant, is my point.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And that's my story on beer pong.
Well, there you go.
I didn't partake.
It's a fun party game to do. When
I didn't
you're at
realize,
something
though,
like
that you set it up to where you're not, like, reaching your hand into another beer and somebody else, and you're drinking
it's just
somebody.
water.
Yeah.
Because we're not animals.
Well, y'all are.
We're
are.
party animals.
Yeah.
It did look like Animal House Saturday morning, I'll tell you that, and Sunday morning.
Did it really?
Good Lord. Yeah. We had these balloons for his birthday Saturday night that had this confetti in them, and there's confetti everywhere. It was chaotic.
Let me ask you: Did the exotic dancers
there
like
were no
the confetti?
exotic? My parents are gonna be so mad.
Dude, this is sports talk radio.
No, there were no exotic dancers.
This is the adult version.
Look, I wasn't in Oxford. I was in Memphis.
Version. What?
Nothing.
I don't even know where this is going. We'll get David Johnson on the phone. Maybe he can save the show. David will join us on the where do I want to go here? We'll go with Parrish Canebrake Brewing, but we're going to announce a new brew out of Mississippi that's hitting the shelves that I'm excited about. And I'm hoping we're going to have a little tasting party. I know we'll pair it with some Boar's Head. Maybe Jeff Jones will come in with Jonesy Q seasoning and rubs and sauces, and cook it up for us too. Looking forward to that. You're listening to ESPN 105.9 The Zone, WRKS, where you can watch the show, the webcast. Go to YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. We're also streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app, and we welcome in David Johnson on the Parrish Canebrake guest line. And David, let's start with John Rhys Plumlee. What are you hearing about his future? Do you feel like he'll stay at Ole Miss the next couple of years and play another position, or do you think that he may look to play quarterback somewhere else?
Bo, I feel as if John Rhys is going to stay at Ole Miss for another year, at least. I think he's coming back. And that's just my opinion on that. Of course, he has said that he's probably going to make a summertime decision, which is wise of him not to, just jump straight out of the boat and into the water. He's kind of putting his toes in there and feeling things around. But I think he's coming back. I think he likes it here. I think he's warmed up to the idea of being a playmaker at a different position other than quarterback. And I think with this Ole Miss offense, that's obviously going to be the slot position to begin with. And, he had a pretty good performance in the Outback Bowl. And, I think he left last season feeling good about the possibility. And, I really don't think baseball is going to play as much of a factor into it as some people do. I think this is going to be purely a football decision. But I think he returns to be an Ole Miss Rebel. I wouldn't have told you that 3 months ago. But I do believe the paradigm's kind of shifted a little bit.
So John Rhys Plumlee may decide to stay in Oxford and play another position and continue, maybe get more reps there, know it better, and have an opportunity to catch more footballs from Matt Corral. This will be interesting to monitor. He'll play Ole Miss. He'll play baseball for Ole Miss this spring. David Johnson, Rebels 247 on the Out of Bounds show. David, I think maybe one of the biggest, recruiting deals for Ole Miss is the fact that Sanders and Drummond are coming back. They've been overshadowed by Elijah Moore, but they're both very, very talented. How do you see it?
Yeah, I agree with that. Those were big-time decisions that benefited the Ole Miss football program for sure. Matt Corral is not going to be void of wide receivers. There seems to be some thought pattern out there that, Elijah Moore's gone, Corral's not going to have anybody to throw to. I don't think that's true at all. I think a lot of what you see with Lane is now look, Elijah Moore was a fantastic superstar player, but a lot of what you see with Lane depends on consistency, and it's kind of systemic in that way. And Dontario Drummond, Braylon Sanders, both those guys more than capable of stepping into that role, much like what we saw Casey Kelly do in the Outback Bowl when Kenny Yeboah was not available. He stepped in, he was consistent, therefore he performed. And I think that's what you're going to get out of those two guys coming into next season.
And Ealy has surgery. What is is he expected to be full go for spring practice?
No, I don't think you'll see him in spring practice with the shoulder surgery. There's nothing Jerrion Ealy needs to prove or anything. There's no sense in trying to rush him out there. I think he's full go by August 1st, though, when fall camp opens up, and that's really what matters right now.
Sure. David Johnson, Rebels 247 on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We just received a text from a listener, asked David about Snoop Connor. What is Snoop Connor's future in Oxford, David?
Great question. Great question. If his future is in Oxford, I think it's bright, but that's an if, and I think that's what your listener was driving at there. There's been a little scuttlebutt, if you will, about Snoop possibly leaving the program and not being happy. But right now, I can only categorize that as scuttlebutt. He's done nothing. He has not entered the portal, and as of right now, he's still part of the Ole Miss football team. Now, we'll see what happens, and maybe that's what Snoop's doing. Maybe Snoop wants to see what happens in spring practice, things like that, though that picture will be fogged because of what we just talked about with Jerrion Ealy likely not being out there. You wouldn't really get a true measure of an idea of what they want to do with you without Ealy in the picture. But we're just going to have to see. I mean, he hasn't entered the portal yet, which has surprised some people, and maybe he won't. I'm not going to make a prediction on what's going to happen either way, but great question, and it's certainly a concern in Oxford right now.
Yeah, so he looked good in the bowl game. I mean, he ripped off a couple of really big runs. And they were late in the game, too.
He reminds me of Brandon Bolden when Brandon Bolden was at Ole Miss.
Just
a good, hard runner, kind of surprises you a little bit with his vision and his speed. But that's who he reminds me of, and Brandon Bolden went on to have a great NFL career.
Yeah, he did. So Casey Kelly, Chad Kelly's little brother, was he a walk-on or a signee? I mean, he looked good, like you said, in the Outback Bowl. Did this surprise the staff? Did they expect this? Where are they on Casey Kelly, David?
Yeah, Casey Kelly is a walk-on. Was a walk-on,
Okay.
Remains a walk-on. And, came to Ole Miss because this is where his brother stood out. Personality-wise, two totally different animals. Chad was known to be a little bit rambunctious, and according to his teammates, Casey is more of a serious person, a student of the game, if you will, a very hard-working young man. Not to say that Chad wasn't, but just not exactly what you might expect. I would expect Lane Kiffin's got some thinking to do about figuring out how to get Casey Kelly on scholarship after the performance in the Outback Bowl. But right now he is not. He went home for the Christmas break, of course, and tore his ACL and tore his MCL in a snowboarding accident.
No.
So, yes. So Casey.
Good grief.
Hopefully he'll be back before the start of fall camp. These ACL injuries, the returns get quicker and quicker. But 9 months is what you're looking at. Again, I don't think they'll rush anything on him, but that's his status right now.
Who are the other options to replace Yeboah outside of Casey Kelly?
Yeah, pretty much Chase Rogers.
Oh, that's right. I saw him on the field. Yeah. He's
a transfer from Louisiana Lafayette. And then, you got a kid like Jonathan Hess, who is he's been a career defensive player, a linebacker that they've moved over to the tight end side of the ball. The interesting thing to follow is whether or not Casey Kelly's injury forces the Rebels to pick up a transfer tight end in the portal. They've always intended to do that. Then there was this quick idea of, well, you know what, Casey Kelly's developing. Maybe we don't have to do that. But the bet is that they're back on the tight end transfer trail right now. I would imagine they'll probably sign one on February 3rd.
Okay. All right. And how many spots do they have, counting the transfer portal and just signees out of high school left, David?
Yeah, essentially 4 spots is what you're looking at. And really and truly, while they're recruiting a couple of more high school kids, most of their focus in the high school ranks is on one guy. That's Tywone Malone, the defensive tackle from up on the East Coast. And they're after him. I think the other spots you're going to see will be filled with transfers, perhaps a tight end, perhaps a defensive tackle. They've already landed a wide receiver transfer. He's on campus now in Rakur Pearson. And then, I guess the best possible available would be the way to put it.
Okay.
That. They're not going to reach. He stressed that. They're not going to sign guys just to fill a class. They'd rather be low on numbers than low on confidence in the kids that they're bringing in.
That makes sense. David Johnson, Rebels 247 on the Out of Bounds show and the Parrish Cane Break guest line, talking Ole Miss football. Matt Corral is going to be, without a doubt, the best returning quarterback in the SEC and one of the best in the country. And I still believe that the Sanders-Drummond deciding to stay may be the biggest get for the Ole Miss football program this year. We've got another question on our text line. All right. MJ Daniels, this guy asked, is he already enrolled, David?
Yes. MJ actually got up and attended some bowl practices. So, yes, he is already enrolled. Spring semester starts Monday, which is today. 15, let's see, counting the transfer receiver, 16 of those early signee guys are on campus as of this morning.
Wow, that's strong. Okay. So all those guys get to go through spring practice. If you're listening, David said they've got 4 spots left. They're not going to reach. Maybe a couple of transfers, maybe another high school kid, but they'll go in maybe 1 or 2 under if they need to and grab it back maybe a little bit later in the year. David, always good to catch up. There's always something going on with all these football programs year-round. We'll monitor John Rhys Plumlee in the baseball, see what happens this summer. And like I said, Sanders and Drummond coming back. What a huge get for Corral and Kiffin. Appreciate it. Have a great week. Thanks, David.
Always, Bo. Thank you.
David Johnson, Rebels 247 on the Parrish Cane Break guest line. So there you go. John Rhys is all in baseball this spring. He'll just kind of see how that goes and maybe make a decision in the summer as to whether he wants to play receiver at Ole Miss or look around, I guess, if there's a quarterback spot that he may like. That's a pretty big deal if you're able to keep him in the fold and happy at the wide receiver position. I'd go play quarterback just because I think the kid can be amazing. Well, we mentioned all the SEC teams that he could start for, gosh, I don't know how many, half dozen SEC teams. I mean, he's better than Bo Nix at Auburn. They would immediately if John Rhys decided at lunch today, having lunch at Proud Larry's on the Square, I do want to play quarterback. That bug, that itch is just too much. I'm going to go to Auburn. He's better than Bo Nix. Actually, I don't think it's close now that I kind of think about it. He could be light years better than Bo Nix. What he would do at Florida would be illegal. I don't know about how good Emory Jones is. My first guess would be that he would beat Emory Jones out. But Emory Jones may be that guy that can, is ready to take over at Florida, and Dan continues to develop him. He may be an outstanding player. But there's several other spots, too. I don't know about A&M's young kid that Cole Kubelik mentioned in the first hour. I guess we'll see there. Arkansas, Kendall Briles would probably do handstands to get John Rhys Plumlee to Arkansas and run that modern Baylor offense, which is a lot what Ole Miss does. So those are just some, of course, he would be an upgrade at Kentucky, and we'll see what happens at South Carolina. So we don't know what John Rhys Plumlee's going to do. I didn't know that Casey Kelly had tore his ACL and MCL in a snowboarding. I mean, that's devastating because he's coming off this amazing game in actually he had a big catch against LSU or two, but he had a really good game against Indiana. And when you get that kind of magic from a walk-on, I'm sure he was a preferred walk-on, which is cool. That's a big deal. And he was probably going to play his way into a Scully or had a chance to, maybe this summer, depending on how the numbers fell. Chad Kelly's younger brother, Casey Kelly, Ole Miss tight end. It just goes to show it didn't really matter if it was Yeboah or Kelly. Lane Train's going to scheme it up to where dudes are open. And Casey Kelly was running wide open against Indiana.
Yeah, it's tough. You lose the momentum of the season. You have to work now back just to get to 100%.
Yeah, and that could be tough. I mean, I know not everybody. A lot of players are coming back in 6 to 7 months, but that's not always a slam dunk. And obviously it stops there because I'd have to ask somebody from Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center because I think it just depends on the human, right? Every person's different. Some can come back in 6 months and some it takes 8, 9, 10, 11 months. Just kind of depends on what all's going on. Snowboarding, ACL, MCL tear, brutal. Yeah, especially with what he did against LSU and Indiana. Chad Kelly's younger brother, Casey Kelly. We'll see where he is, I guess, by about July. And if he's ready to go for August 5th camp. Live in the Bank Plus studio, the Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by Independent Roofing Systems, the #1 commercial roofing company in Mississippi. That's Independent Roofing Systems, roofing.ms. Steve Robertson at 9:30.